I come from a family of tailors. My grandfather was a furrier. He sat in the back room of a fur store downtown and sewed mink, cable, and lamb's wool pelts together into coats, jackets, and stoles. Uh, I'd rather say beautiful coats, jackets, and stoles, but these days I'm liable to be stoned by some animal protection lobby or anti-fur lobby. In my late 20s, I often wore with great pride a gigantic beaver coat formerly owned by the Winnipeg Police Department, who used to wear these things in the deep freeze of winter street patrol. My Uncle Max owned and sold all the buttons, zippers, and thread in the city of Winnipeg. Did very well. Think about it. Could the clothing industry survive without him? Max's brother, my Uncle Tom, was the head tailor at the Bay back in the days when it was still called the Hudson's Bay Company. I'm not sure I ever saw him without a tape measure around his neck, pacing the menswear department on the main floor of the enormous block-long store. If I was downtown, I would stop and say hello, and he would always press a quarter into my little boy's hand. In those days, a quarter was good for a hot dog and a strawberry shake. Another aunt and uncle owned a very fashionable ladies' store way up on Main Street. They had a good eye for the latest fashions, and they were all about service, gushing over one happy matron after another and fitting younger women for those kinds of events that call for special wardrobes, grads, coming out parties, weddings. My aunt and uncle didn't have to go very far for work. They lived in an extraordinarily beautiful, ultra-modern apartment above the store, an apartment that looked like something out of a Joan Crawford movie. My mother worked as a bookkeeper for several sweatshops and churned out sporting clothes under the whole range of famous and local brands. Behind the rubber tree plant in our house that stood at the corner of the living room next to the upright piano was the ever-present tailor's measuring stick, complete with a rubber bulb that, when quickly squeezed, fired a white chalk mark at just the right place for trouser cuffs and the end of a skirt. None of these people in my family was particularly well-dressed or stylish. I mean, nobody disgraced themselves by any means, but I suppose in deference to their customers, they chose to remain part of the background. I'm not the first to observe that the most peculiarly dressed people you'll ever meet in movie and theater business are the costumers, and the makeup masters are inevitably the plainest Janes. I can barely sew a button back on a shirt, but I treasure this family through line, and I remember these details with great fondness. Pickle. For most of us, the days of the family business are history. What we have gained in personal freedoms and variety is offset often by what perhaps we have lost in continuity.